Good morning, students. Today I am going to discuss part 4 of chapter 1 from your class 11 biology syllabus. The name of the chapter is The Living World. Today we are going to discuss the taxonomic aids or tools and different kinds of the mechanism for preservation of animals and plants. So let's start the today's class. Before starting this class, I hope already you have gone through 3 previously uploaded videos on this chapter, and from these 3 videos we came to know about the living world, about the taxonomy, about the binomial nomenclature and the taxonomic categories also. In our today's class, today I am going to discuss first the taxonomic aids. So what is the basic meaning of these taxonomic aids? Here it's written the taxonomic aids. So what is the basic meaning of it? So actually both laboratory and field studies are required for study and correct identification of species. What is the meaning of it? Already we have categorized the species based on their characteristics. Okay. So based on the different kinds of the fields, taxonomic fields, like we all are actually put all the animals based on their classification, based on their characteristics. But now, these laboratory and field studies are also required for study and correct identification of species. So the information once gathered should also be stored for further reference also, the future reference also. So specimens should also be collected and preserved and stored for later verification. So biologists have standardized procedure and techniques to store information and specimen. So storehouses of information and specimens which can help in identification and classification of organisms are called the taxonomic aids. Okay. So the important components are botanical gardens, zoological gardens, herbaria, zoological museum, parks, etc. So what is the economical significance of these taxonomical studies? So there is some economical significance, otherwise why we have to study, why we will study all those things. So the study of plants, animals and other organisms can also be helpful in knowing the bioresources and biodiversity of our planet, which can be utilized in agriculture, forestry and other industries also. So study of plants means the botany, study and animals means the zoology. So all those things are actually happen. So what is the need of taxonomical aids? What is the basic needs? What is the basic advantage of this taxonomical aids? So identification and classification of an organism requires its study in a lab as well as in field also. So next thing is that the collection of an organism is essential for this thing. Next, the study also involves gathering and storage of information along with the preservation of many organisms for further studies or future studies. Biologists have therefore established certain procedures and techniques to store and preserve the information as well as the specimens which act as the taxonomic aids. So all those are actually the needs of taxonomic aids. I am repeating again, what is the needs of taxonomic aids? The first one is the identification and classification of an organism which is required to study in a lab as well as in field. Next thing is the collection of an organism is essential for this. Okay, suppose I am actually experimenting on the ants, so I need some ant specimen. Okay, I need some collected ant specimen, otherwise I cannot experiment on the specimen. So for this collection, this taxonomic aids is very much important. We cannot collect just normally all those specimens, the plant and animal specimens. So we should follow some scientific rule to collect all those things. This study also involves gathering and storage of information along with preservation of many organisms for future studies. And the last one is the biologists have therefore established certain procedures and techniques to store and preserve the information as well as the specimens which act as the taxonomic aids. Next thing is the herbarium. So this herbarium is one of the most important taxonomic aids which is used to store the plant specimen. So this is actually useful, this is actually applicable for the plant specimen, not the animal specimen. This is useful for the plant specimen. Okay. So what is the meaning of the herbarium? So it is the collection of pressed, mounted or preserved plant specimen. I am repeating again, herbarium is a collection of pressed, mounted or preserved plant specimens which is arranged systematically and according to commonly accepted system of classification so as to provide first-hand information of the plant's materials of various types. Okay, so it's a storehouse. So you can say in this way that it's a storehouse of collected plant specimen that are actually dried, pressed and preserved on the seeds. So next thing is the arrangement of the seeds is done according to a universally accepted system of classification. I am repeating again, this arrangement of system is done according to a universally accepted system of classification. So this specimens plus description on herbarium seeds is actually the storehouse for future use. It's actually, you can say, this is the repository for future use. Okay. Next thing, label at the base on the seed for providing the information about date and place of collection, that is the English local and botanical names, family and collector's name also. Okay. What is the steps, what is the tools for plant collection and preservation? So first of all, the first tool is the digger for taking out roots, rhizomes, bulbs, etc. of plants. Second is the pair of large scissors for cutting twigs. Third is the knife for cutting hard woody twigs. And fourth is the sickle with long handle for cutting twigs of tall trees. Next is the vasculum box for temporary keeping plant specimen fresh. It is 45 to 60 cm long, 20 cm wide and 15 cm deep. Next is the polythene bags. Next is the old newspapers and magazine. Next blotting papers. Next plant press. Next field notebook and pen, and the last one is the herbarium seeds, printed labels and the glue. Okay. So this collection, first we have to collect the plant material, then we have to dry this thing, then poisoning using 0.1% corrosive sublimate of HgCl2, then labeling and deposition. So international size of herbarium seed is 41 into 29 centimeter square. Next size of label 7 into 12 centimeter, and next fragment packets are used for seeds, extra flowers or loose plant parts. So this is the basic things of the herbarium. So this is the picture of the herbarium seed. This is the picture of the herbarium. This is the collection of the herbarium. Okay. So this is the thing. So you should know one thing, that largest herbarium of the world are present at the Royal Botanical Garden at Kew. Okay, 6.5 million specimens are there, and Museum of Natural History in Paris, 6 million specimens are there. In India, the largest herbarium is at Botanical Garden, Kolkata. Okay, Indian Botanical, please keep it in mind because this is important. Botanical Garden, Kolkata. Okay. It's also called the Central National Herbarium. It's also called the Central National Herbarium. This herbarium has 2 million specimens are there, and large sized herbaria are also maintained at National Botanical Research Institute that's present in Lucknow, FRI Dehradun, and Madras Herbarium at Coimbatore. FRI means the forest, FRI means the FRI means the Forest Research Institute. FRI means the Forest Research Institute. Okay, this FRI means the Forest Research Institute. Okay, so what is the role of herbarium? So why will actually preserve all those things? Why we should preserve all those things? So standard herbaria are used for identification of plants. Specimens along with description on herbarium sheets constitute a storehouse or repository of knowledge for future use or further use. Herbaria constitute quick referral house for persons which is engaged in taxonomic studies. They are used for maintaining type specimens also of newly described taxa. Herbaria also helps in the study of flora of different places. Okay, there is two terms, that the flora and fauna. I think all of you know this thing. When I have taken this class, that time I have mentioned all those things. Flora means the plant world and fauna means the animal world. Okay. Ecology of different places also can be known, and wild relatives of economically important plants are easily located. Okay. Next is the botanical garden. So this botanical garden is an institute located at an enclosed piece of land which grows numerous types of plants obtained from different places for botanical studies. This is also related with the plants. This is also related with the plants. This is also related with the plants. This is not related with the animals. Okay. So there are over 525 large-sized botanical gardens developed in various parts of the world. So it's specialized gardens where living plants are grown for scientific studies or reference. Okay. So each part is well labeled indicating its botanical or scientific name and its family. Just look at the structure. In this way, actually all the plants are labeled for scientific study. So these first modern day botanical gardens were established in Italy first in the year of 1543. A botanical garden is actually exclusively growing trees and shrubs is called the arboretum, and the most famous botanical garden of the world is Kew Garden or Royal Botanical Garden. It was found in the year of 1759. So in India also there are 1, 2 to 3 botanical gardens are also there, like Indian Botanical Garden which is present at Shivpur, Howrah. Okay, this botanical garden is the largest in India and its area is 273 acres. Okay, and it was established in the year of 1787. And it has a large number of fruit trees, timber trees, spice plant, palms, succulents, water lilies, orchids, climbers, and a large banyan tree. The next botanical garden is the National Botanical Garden that's present in the Lucknow, which is actually spread over an area of 70 acres. So this garden grows a large number of trees, palms, cacti, orchids, ornamentals, medicinal plants and ferns. So there are laboratories devoted to different fields of research. Okay. And another laboratory is also there, another botanical garden is also there. Okay, in Darjeeling. So this garden actually specializes in alpine and other cold area plants, orchids, ferns and other plants also is there. So its area is 40 acres. So this is also the another types of the repository site or repository house. So what is the role of the botanical garden? So these kinds of the garden, it provides plant material for comparative taxonomic studies. Okay, and the functioning as the acclimatization centers for exotic plants for economic importance also. And next thing, it actually growing and maintaining records of local flora and growing plants of various types for research also. So it provides the seeds and living materials to different research centers, and the coordinating research through International Association of Botanical Gardens and ex situ conservation of endangered plant species also. Okay. Next thing is the zoological parks. So this is also applicable in the animals, not in the plants. Okay. So this is for animals. This is not for the plants. So these zoological parks or zoological gardens are enclosed areas or parkland where animals are kept in open enclosure instead of cages. So this is the specialized places where the living animals are kept in protected environments under human care. Example, National Zoological Park, which is present in Delhi. So all animals in a zoo are provided as far as possible the conditions similar to their natural habitats also. Okay. So what is the role of zoological parks? The zoological parks are actually the prized asset. So they are useful for the familiarizing public, especially children, with wild animals, study of live animal types by students, and for further research oriented activities also. Sources of tourist attraction, ex situ conservation through captive breeding of endangered animals, and because of this captive breeding, so there are actually different kinds of the new specimens also you will see, actually you can see in these zoological parks. Next thing is the museum. So this is a place, I think all of you have heard this thing, the museum. So museum, what is the meaning of the museum? So museum is actually a place which is used for storing, preservation and exhibition of objects of natural history, art and objects of antiquities. So all educational institutes and universities maintain the museums in their botany and zoology department. So this is set up for the solely educational purpose primarily. So it's actually have collections of preserved plant and animal specimens for study and reference. So next, the specimens are preserved in the containers or jars in preservative solutions. Dry specimens of plants and animals are also preserved, and insects are preserved in insect boxes after collecting, killing and pinning. So larger animals in birds and mammals are usually stuffed and then preserved. So skeletons of animals are also reserved. Information as labels are provided along with all specimens in the museum. So example, National Museum of Natural History in Delhi, and also ZSI is also there, Zoological Survey of India. This is also considered as a museum. So this is the basic things, and apart from this, all those some important museums are also there, like American Museum of Natural History, New York in USA, State Museum of Natural History, that's present in Germany, Museum of Natural History, Basel, Switzerland, Bat Collection Museum of Natural History, Austria, National Museum of Natural History, Paris, National Museum of Natural History in New Delhi, Museum of Mumbai Natural History Society, and the Museum of Arthropod also is present in Pune. So what is the role of the museum? The roles are similar to those of the herbaria. That first one is the standard museums of collections of plants and animals of various areas, and this museums is also is actually the place for the plants and animals both. Okay. So next thing, museums provide informations not only about the local fauna and flora but also of the other areas. They are used to deposit type specimens whenever new taxa are described. So they are important centers for taxonomic studies, like important members of various taxa, that important characteristics study and identification of various organisms. Next thing is the key. So all those are actually the important for the taxonomic key. What is the meaning of the key? So this is actually important taxonomic aid. So it's actually set of alternate characters or couplets of different types arranged sequence wise in such a fashion that by selection and elimination, so one can quickly find out the name of the organism. So I am repeating again, key is the another taxonomical aid used for the identification of the plants and animals based on their similarities and dissimilarities. So keys are generally analytical in nature and they are based on their contrasting characteristics, generally in a pair called the couplet. So two opposite options from which a choice is made, the one is accepted and the other one is the rejected. So each statement in the key is called a lead. So taxonomic key are of two types, that bracketed and indented. So in a bracketed key, the alternate characters are given numbers in brackets actually, okay, and in indented or yoked key there is sequence of two or more alternate characters from where actually the selection and elimination are carried out. So separate taxonomic keys are required for each taxonomic category such as family, genus and species for identification purpose. Next is the other taxonomical aids. So within the other taxonomical aids there are several types of the taxonomical aids are also there, like the flora, manuals, monographs and catalogs. So all those are actually the recorded descriptions. All those are actually the recorded description. So these floras are actually compilation of describing habitat, environmental conditions, seasonal changes and description of plants along with their identification keys. So they are actually available for the ready reference. It helps in the correct identification. Next is the manual. Okay, manual is actually contains and description of the plant species found in an area. This is not necessarily actually exhaustive and usually user defined. So what is the meaning of it? That it's a books of instructions having information for identification of names of species which occurs in a particular areas. Next one is the monographs. So these are publications containing exhaustive treatment of all the members and aspects of biology of taxonomic groups as far as they relate to their identification, nomenclature and classification. And the last one is the catalog. So it's a book containing list of symmetrically arranged plants or animals which is found in area along with their identification. So these simply are listing of all species organized alphabetically. So this is the actually with this portion the chapter is completed. Okay, so in our next video we'll discuss a new chapter. We'll start to discuss a new chapter. So I hope this video will help you a lot for better understanding. Okay, so please go through it properly, and if you are having any queries just ask me immediately. And I hope all of you know this thing that from now the question paper will be in MCQ format, so go through it properly. Okay, each and every topic, each and every chapter you have to go through properly, and go through this video also. Okay, and if you are having any queries just ask me. Thank you. Bye.